Good morning guys and welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back! Today I'm going to be doing a review of Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda because I just finished listening to it last weekend and the movie will be coming out soon. The reason why I read this book during the school year, I don't usually read books when I'm in school because I just don't have time because of all the books I have to read for school. But the reason why I did this is because I wanted to watch it before I went to see the movie that's coming out sometime in March called Love, Simon, which I mentioned in my upcoming movies I'm excited for video if you saw that. And so I finished it. I listened to it on audiobook because it's just easier to listen to a book when I'm driving. Without further ado, let's get into the review. I didn't really have any expectations going into the book. I mean, I guess I did because I knew I had seen the trailer for the movie. Well, I didn't really know what to expect is more what I mean. I knew it was a contemporary. I knew it was about a guy dealing with his sexuality, and that's pretty much it. I didn't really know what all it would entail, and I was pleasantly surprised by all of it. This isn't really a spoiler because you find out in the first like 30 seconds of listening to it, but basically this guy Simon is being blackmailed for being gay. He is not out yet, and this guy finds out and is blackmailing him to get close to one of his friends, which is such a mess and so horrible, and this guy does not understand why Simon is upset about it. He's just like, it's not blackmail, but it totally is blackmail. Like, it just is. So that's the basic concept of it, and the rest is him exploring, trying to get away from this blackmail, exploring his feelings and how he feels about being out, and all kinds of things like that. I really enjoyed the characters in this. They were all so unique and dealing with their own problems, and while we were focused on Simon, there were other things that were going on that we didn't really find out about till later because we were from the point of view of Simon and he was so blind to his friends' problems because he was so focused on himself. But everyone had their own difficulties and their own things that they were going through, and it was so great. There was one character, one of his best friends named Leia, and that's my name, so I felt a very special connection to her, except she was a bitch, so I mean, I don't know what that says about me. She was the worst, if I'm being honest. She like wouldn't tell anybody what was wrong with her. She would just be mad and go off sulking all the time. They didn't invite her to one of these things because they didn't want her to be sulking the whole time, and then she was mad at them. It was such a mess. I hated it. Hated her. But, well, I liked her because I love Leah. But anyways. And then his other best friend's name was Nick, and he wasn't really as big of a part in it as I wanted him to be because they literally grew up together, but they weren't in very much communication throughout the whole book, which I thought was interesting. If you've seen the trailer for Love, Simon, you know that, and haven't read the book, you know that he is emailing this guy who goes under the pen name Blue, which, sorry, I got really excited, which is such a cute thing, and their emails are literally adorable, and if you read this book, I highly suggest you read it through audiobook because it's literally, read it through audiobook? Okay, listen to it on audiobook because it is so good. The narrator, I forget his name, but I'll put it on the screen right now if I remember to figure it out. The narrator was so good, such a good person reading the book, and it really captured the whole thing for me, and I'm gonna be really disappointed in the movie if Simon doesn't sound like the narrator of the book, but anyways. I was literally so obnoxious. I'm glad that I was alone most of the time that I was listening to it in my car because I was literally laughing out loud, screaming at the characters for good things and bad things, like cackling disgustingly. It was so hilarious and so great. I can't even describe to you how amazing. I wish that this was a spoilery review so that I could fangirl about who Blue ended up being, because you find out and it's freaking awesome and so unexpected to everyone, from Simon to like, yeah, even though I knew that the people that Simon thought was Blue, like he had a couple different ideas, even though I knew they weren't, I was also kind of like, but are they? And the only reason I knew they weren't is because it just didn't line up with the way that Blue was in the emails. And then when we find out who it was, it's just so good. And it doesn't end with him finding out. You get adorable moments at the end of them hanging out, and oh, it's so great. I'm not gonna, oh my gosh, so good, so good. If you couldn't tell already, I give this book a 5 out of 5 stars, and if you don't if you aren't friends with me on Goodreads, you totally should be. That link is in the description. And I give most books that I read 4 or 5 out of 5 stars because I just love every book that I've ever read. So I'm not a good reviewer, but still, if you have the same taste as me, you will enjoy all the books I give 4 out of 5 stars. The narrator would read out the emails every single time. So it'd be to hour-to-hour.note-to-note@gmail.com, from bluegreen118@gmail.com. Subject, regarding something. And then it would read the email, and then when that one was over, it would go to bluegreen118@gmail.com, from hour-to-hour.note-to-note@gmail.com. I mean, it was fine. It was just like, I would just say it with him by the end, and I was, because obviously I know it by heart, because I sent so many emails. Oh, there was one point in the book where everyone was mad at him, like literally everyone. And it was the worst because I didn't understand why anyone was mad at him. It was all resolved later, but like, everyone was mad for no reason. It was like, there's this one girl named Abby in the book. She is like new in town, but she becomes close with the trio of Nick, Leia, and Simon. She is literally amazing. So adorable. And she's all mixed up in the whole blackmail thing, so that's exciting. I guess that's all that I have to say about this book that is non-spoilery. You should totally read it or listen to it. I highly suggest the audiobook. It was only, I don't remember how expensive it was, but it was only 6 hours to listen to. So it took me a couple of car rides, but I finished it, and it was a really easy listen, and it felt like time was not passing at all. The chapters are really short if you want to read it, or they felt short to me. I don't really know. I don't have the physical copy of the book, but some of the chapters were only like 5 minutes read out loud. So it's a really easy read and so worth it. It was so good and so adorable, and I'm so excited for this movie. Love, Simon. Coming out March something 2018. I'll put it on the screen. I think that is all that I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe so you can join my family. Hit the little bell to get notified whenever I post a video so you won't miss it. And that's it. So have a great morning, and if I don't see you later, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.